Is when you're younger, you think it's this. When you're in your teens, your 20s, it changes throughout your life. What is important to you and what you do with your time and who you surround yourself with. And now it's so crystal clear because
Welcome to Let's Talk About It Tuesdays, where I share conversations that I have with successful women, all answering the same questions. And then we simply chat it up a bit. You get to be a fly on the wall in these conversations.
Today, I welcome Toni Edwards to the conversation. Toni is a business owner and roller skating entrepreneur who has a passion for both work and play. Her adventurous spirit just happens to be both infectious and inspiring because she's a woman who strives to make the most of each day through simple pleasures that make a big impact on her quality of life. This is my chat with Toni Edwards.
crazy Toni. Okay,
Okay.
go.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Let's Talk About It Tuesdays. I'm so excited that you're here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here finally.
We made it.
Yay.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with the first question for you today by asking you, what is quality of life to you?
Quality of life to me is making the most out of every day and really enjoying and appreciating what I have in front of me that I can utilize. Living at the beach, working from home, getting to do what I love. That's a quality of life to me.
That is great.
And traveling, vacations.
Yeah. And, as you're saying that, it sounds very simple, but I know there's a lot that goes around behind it into why that's important to you. Would you mind sharing a little bit about why that's so important to you?
Well, it's important to me because when you work for yourself or you work full time, you really have to choose what you're going to do with your time. What's the most valuable thing you can do with your time? And when you are somebody like me that likes to do a million things, you know, um, activities, skating, surfing, snowboarding, bungee, exercising, you really have to choose what to do with your time. So I feel like
Mm.
as a mom with a 16-year-old and a full-time business owner and being completely immersed in an industry, there's not a lot of extra time. So I really savor those hours or those little bits of free time that I have to make. I actually have to force myself to do.
Mhm.
And that just makes your day better. That makes your work better. That makes your family better. That makes you better. And you just kind
Absolutely.
of manifest that energy. So, it's important to me because you have to have it. You have to have that balance or it's just chaos.
Yes.
At
And,
least for me.
I'm going to back up just a little bit because I did not in any way mean to imply that that's so simple because I know you and I know that there's the reason that I brought it up like that is because I know that there's a lot that goes beyond on behind the scenes with you and how you are an amazingly creative, full-lifed, very adventurous person.
It's a lot. It's a lot to
And
be inside me.
yeah, and to some, hearing an answer that is able to be described in just a few words is kind of uncommon. But do you find that it needs to be because there's so much else going on in your life
Needs to be
described in that way?
um I feel like it's taken a lot of my lifetime to get to that clarity. So I do think that comes with time and experience and age and really immersing yourself to be that convicted that this is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when you're younger, you think it's this. When you're in your teens, your 20s, it changes throughout your life. What is important to you and what you do with your time and who you surround yourself with. And now it's so crystal clear because I just turned 50. I've hit that point where I'm like, all right, yay. And I'm grateful to have hit 50. I think it's a blessing. People don't
Mhm.
get to hit 50
Yeah.
or anywhere close. So, it's very crystal clear to me that over the past couple of years, as my life has changed and transitioned with my business and my child, and primarily those two things. um, it really I've really come to realize what matters, and that's fresh air, and that's giving yourself that time and giving yourself that grace. So I think those all fall into the
Yeah.
category of quality of life. I mean, it is what it says. Quality of life is those good things that you do for yourself,
Yes.
you know?
Would you mind sharing a little bit about what that looks like in real time for you? What are your favorite ways of implementing your qualities of life?
Well, there's many things, as you know. One that I feel is incredibly important, like I said, is traveling. Traveling, I personally will work harder and longer and accomplish more and in my own home and in my own surroundings and my communities, knowing that I have a traveling. I don't
Mm.
even want to say it's a vacation necessarily, because it's almost like a retreat for me.
Ooh.
I mean, I always
Uh-huh.
say eat, pray, love. She goes out there to Italy and then she just, finds herself. And so I feel like that is very, very important for my balance, is to go and see other places and go and be in different airs and in different, just environments. And that I always come home rejuvenated. And so that's the main one is the travel.
Mm.
And then the other thing, which is roller skating, which, yay, we are diehard roller skaters. And which is how we met. Um, I, that's always there. That's always, always there. That's always a warm hug. It's always that little security blanket. If I need something, it's right there. It's immediate.
Mm.
As you know, I have skates everywhere. They're in my car. They're in my shoe cubby. They're in the
She's
garage.
not lying. She's not lying.
Everywhere. They're everywhere. If I need them, they're right there. I could just get them and go. So that to me is kind of like my immediate go-to. And that is definitely contributes to my quality of exercise, health, day. I get that clarity in my mind.
Mhm.
And then, I do lots of other things. I like to go snowboarding, and that's another retreat. And I like to go surfing, and that's another retreat.
Yeah.
And, let's go get breakfast with my family on the weekend. So the balance is so
Mhm.
important. So important,
Yes.
because we are workaholics. I'm a workaholic and I love working. And that also is part of my quality of life. That makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
Having my own business and working and being on the computer and doing website stuff and graphics. It's so fun, you know?
Thank you for bringing that up, because a lot of the times when I say I work with people to improve their quality of life, one of the first thoughts might be, or comments might be, well, I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing. I really love what I'm doing. It's just not necessarily working. Something's just not working. And so to be able to still say, yes, you can still be driven, successful, a workaholic to a degree.
Almost sounds like a bad word, but it's,
It does sound like a bad word, but
it,
the,
we need to
the
change the stigma, I guess, that's attached to that, because we don't see it as like a requirement. It's not.
right.
It's just that we are very immersed in what
I
we care
know.
about.
What
So
would
go
be
on,
another
sorry.
word we could put there? Because you're right. Workaholic does imply that there's a problem.
Right.
And for some people, yes, some people do work and they don't have any balance or harmony in their life. And yes, to you all, if you're watching this, we'll just tiptoe lightly around that,
Hmm.
and we can talk about that later. Reach out to me.
Definitely.
But there are those of us who we really love expressing ourselves and monetizing it and finding ways to bring these ideas that we have into life and to share them with other people. And that's
Mhm.
one of the things that I see for you and with you in the amount of time that I've known you. It's not just about working, it's you express yourself through your work, and you also express yourself for other people, and the people that get to be around you and get to experience what you do get joy. So your whole workaholic thing, what would we rename that? Work
I think it comes down to kind of like creating community. Like if we were really going to dig into that, when I started my company, when I started Surf City Skates, I named it, I gave it birth, or I gave birth to it. I created it, whatever you want to say. It was 2015. 2014. It was kind of stirring. And I always had the intention of making something not just for me. It was never, ever just about me. I needed to do something for an untapped, untouched, unnurtured community of people that
Mm.
I just instinctively knew that there was because I had done it when I was younger. And then whenever it came up to somebody, it was like, oh my gosh, I can't find anywhere to go where there's resources to do this roller skating thing, buy roller skating. So for me, because I had all this stuff going on, all these people stopping me, and whenever I'd say roller skating, they go, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Where do you get it? Where do you go?" It was like, this is for the people. And I'd never been in a position to create community like what has happened. And it far exceeded my expectations. And when I hear people tell me that I spearheaded a movement or in our area, like in Orange County, I was a part of that. I don't want to say I did it all by myself. For sure
Right.
I did. It takes a village, right? But I was now kind of a leader in a community of what I love doing that everyone else felt the same way about. So, it was like, as far as the workaholic part of it goes, it should definitely be implied differently because it's not a bad thing. It's more of um, I don't know, like a work creator. We'll have to think about that.
We will. We'll think about it. We'll put it below in our
Yeah,
description.
yeah, yeah. And I
Because
like to work.
and I share that with you. I'm a creative soul, and
Yes,
sometimes
you
my
are.
brain just doesn't turn off. When I get an idea,
No.
it'll come to me in the most inconvenient times or the times when I'm actually still
Yeah.
sleeping, taking a shower, going to the bathroom, like all the things
Oh,
where
yeah.
I'm removing myself. And once I get that, it is really hard to let go until I see it come to fruition. It's our visionary nature.
Yeah. Same.
So, and one of the things I love about us. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know. And I love that about us too. And I think that as we, especially with what you're doing, and I've gotten to watch you create your business, the Road to Jubilee, and what that's all about. And it's been really fun to kind of be, on like a little wingman, I guess. And, we talk about creating these things and it's inspiring because I feel like a lot of times women think I can't do that. They have
Mm,
this idea, whether they're super creative or they're
right.
not.
Right.
What is it that you care about? What is it you want to put forward? And I feel like we're surrounding ourselves with women that are in this not for just themselves.
Yeah.
They're in it for their community, their family, their whatever it is, other communities and around the world. So we get to do that, and it's hard work. It doesn't just
Yeah.
come knocking at the door. You're not getting these big paychecks for it, and you're not, it's I always say the labor of love. You're
Yeah.
never really going to get rich from doing your labor of love. You could, but it takes a lot, takes a lot of resources and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think that, what we do, we're very lucky, and we are
Yeah.
sharing that with each other and helping each other grow.
Absolutely. And so just everybody knows that watching this, literally the way that Toni and I became friends was because I had gotten my first pair of roller skates and I bought a lower quality one because I wasn't sure if I was really going to be into skating. And, because jumped back into roller skating and I was hooked immediately. I need to get my own pair of skates. And I went into her shop at the time and said, I'm just looking to see what's here. I'm thinking already about different.
With all the Chelsea energy that you have.
I'm looking at, different shoelaces and socks
Yeah.
and the first thing that you said to me, you asked me like what kind of skates did you get? And I told you and you're like, "Oh, you're going to want to change your wheels."
Yeah.
That's the first thing you said to me. I think maybe a month later, I was like, I need to change my wheels. And it was true. You weren't trying to sell me anything.
No.
You just knew. And since then, because I got really hooked, I'm really hooked on roller skating. I don't have as many
And a
pair of skates
master
as you do.
plan.
Yes. But you've been a great breeze that has been blown onto this flame that I have for a new passion. And you've just helped walk alongside me and make it even more fun.
Yay. I know we drag each other out when we're, when we've had long days and it's funny how we're like 50-50 by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then by, closer an hour before we're like, maybe I do. And so it's fun how
Yeah.
and we're fortunate we live close to each other too, so we can swing by. But that cracks me up because we're both in this long, we're so invested in our work and our families and stuff. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go have fun. I'm gonna go
Yes.
sweat. I'm gonna go take my mind off of this. But it's
Mhm.
not always that easy, to
It's
give
not,
yourself
and
that.
sometimes
You're really good at it.
we'll text each other skating tonight, and then sometimes I don't know. And then, the other day I worked a
Or
10-hour
it's like,
day because
yeah, and then it's like, I don't want to go.
I know, right? And the other day I worked a 10-hour day. It was a great day. It was very fulfilling, but I had all this adrenaline inside of me. And so at last minute, it was like 8:30 at night. I'm like, let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
And it
That's how
actually
we work.
helped me. The next day, my body felt good. I got all that adrenaline out versus just sitting in my home and cooking or,
Yeah.
decompressing on social media. So,
Yeah.
yes,
Moving your body is so important. That's why I love doing all these crazy things I do.
so
I
important.
want to surf. I want to get that out. It's like a different release each time. There's a different connection to nature too, which I think is a huge part of the quality of life is being in nature, grounding yourself, taking your shoes off and walking in the soil and the grass. And I mean, those are the things that
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people know they should be doing and they don't do. And so, especially these hardworking women that have careers and
Hmm.
families and
Yeah.
so all that stuff. And as I've gotten older, that's really become a part of my day, is to connect with nature somehow, even whether it's with my plants at home or,
Yeah.
going outside and cutting, pruning some of the plants or that feels all that stuff that it's like going skating, all that stuff pulls you back to
Yes.
what's important.
Yes. Well, how and when are you challenged to incorporate quality of life into your life?
I would say that I am challenged. Well, it takes a lot to challenge me with that because I am a cup is most of the majority of the time full, halfway full.
Hmm.
It's not halfway empty. So I kind of go into the day very optimistic. And the fact that I have a good amount of ADHD probably backs that, my little unicorn, my little magic. And so challenge quality of life is when I get too lost into something, I overthink something. And I'll tend to
Mm,
kind of ride that wave for that day or for those hours. And that does happen. That happens with my age, that happens with my hormones, that happens with
yeah.
just the circumstances of what's going on around, me or whoever it is at the time. So pulling myself out of a funk, it happens sometimes. And again, I think it's because of all those things. My brain doesn't want to go there, but it does. And I'm sure yours does, and I'm sure a lot of people's does.
Yeah.
But for me, like that's probably the biggest challenge is when I'm being too hard on myself in whatever I'm doing, whether it's a relationship or it's my work or my child or my house is dirty or whatever it is. You have to go, okay, we're gonna move past this. This is another one of those baby steps in the day. One step at a time. What are we gonna do next? Okay, and then we can go outside. So,
Hmm.
but usually I wake up like I'm gonna do this, and this, and this, and this. And um, I'm good at that. And I'm good at inspiring other people to do that, which is probably
Yeah.
why I have a roller skating company. But yeah, I mean, I think that those are probably the most challenging times for me to pursue quality,
Hmm.
remember quality.
I think you bring up something that is pretty common with a lot of us, which is the overthinking, which is the, kind of being in the kind of the merry-go-round of life, because life isn't always easy and it's not always easy to step out of this. You had talked about how we work really hard and there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And so by the time we have come to you here, I've done my hair, my makeup's on, my room is clean, all the things I'm presenting myself.
Mhm.
But to see us where we are now, it doesn't mean that our life is perfect. And we do have those overthinking moments and we do have those times of family and relationships. And so I think you bring up something that's pretty common for a lot of us, that
Mhm.
that overthinking can come in. What we're doing up here can come in the way. And then how do we get out of it? Having the conversations with ourselves or whatever works, what we find works for us, exercising,
Right.
touching nature.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, we all want to be happy all day. That's the is to feel good and to not struggle with our mental or
Mhm.
emotional or physical whatever's we're going through. And I think that it's as I'm saying it to you, actually, I'm realizing that I need to implement that more. So, this is why what you do is really great because you pull things out of my mind and my spirit that I didn't think of necessarily that really stays with me going forward. So I'm really
Mm.
proud of you for that because that's very unique. It's a gift for sure. So thank you for that. And yeah, I think that uh, you know, of course I lost my train of thought now. Don't you love when that
Welcome
happens?
to Club 50.
Yay! I forgot what I was saying
Well,
before
we
that.
were talking
I was
about
just
how
wanting to
not
tell you how
everything.
much I adore you.
You see why she's my friend?
Yeah.
No, we were talking about not everything is perfect,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
you were
reminding
having these
ourselves
awarenesses of, as you're saying this.
as we're saying this, yeah, as you bringing this out of me, it's definitely something that I need to also act on as well and not go down the rabbit hole. I say
Yeah.
that a lot, not get lost in it. Um, Come back to the light because that doesn't do anything for us. The more
Mm-hmm.
positive things we do, the drinking water all day, the walking on the soil barefoot, the playing with your cat, or all those things. It takes one decision to change something, and I think we get caught up. We go down that disaster
Yeah.
place, or that's it's too hard or it's too overwhelming. So I think that's something really interesting to work on for everybody. Trying to
Yes.
stay in the light, stay in the, and it's not perfect. We know that. You're allowed to not feel great. You're not allowed to be smiling all the time, or not. You are allowed.
Yeah.
But a lot of that negative stuff, that gets in the way of productivity for us in our businesses or in our
Yeah.
families or whatever we create it. It's not
Yeah.
real. There's a lot of it, like somebody told me that's very spiritual a long time ago, that it's not real until you make it real. And I had to think about that,
Hmm.
because of course it's real. It's right in front of, how can this is happening? But no, your emotions are so attached to something. Your ideas are so attached to something. You're manifesting something that may not be great for you, for your mental wellness and things
Yeah.
like that. So I've worked on that a lot too, and that's definitely contributed to the quality of my life.
Yeah. Because oftentimes what we do is when we get those feelings, we kind of are like, no, 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 right? But then they're still happening and we're still thinking them. And
Mhm.
I'm real big on encouraging us just to stop. Just stop for a second. What are we
Yeah,
feeling? Do
yeah,
we
you are
want
good at
to
that.
keep down that path? Is it worth feeling it? Because, I also am an experiencer and a believer that the emotions and the things that we're feeling are really important,
Mhm.
but it is what we do with them that is equally as
Right.
important. And they're also indicators. They're indicators of, ooh, I'm feeling stressed. Why am I feeling stressed? What am I thinking that's making me feel stressed? And so that's a really great example of, not letting it overtake us and overwhelm us, because it can if we're not in that practice of doing what you're saying, growing through it,
Hmm.
acknowledging it, moving on,
Yeah.
or hang in there. Sometimes we
Hang in
need to
there.
hang there too. Yep.
The cat poster.
I
The cat
know.
poster lives in my mind forever.
The
The hang in
what?
there cat. The hang in there cat. Everybody knows the hang in there cat, I'm
Yes,
sure.
with
At
the
least at least from the 80s or
yes.
70s generations.
I have recently added on to that saying instead of just hang in there, I say hang in there or let go, whatever one you're supposed to do.
That's a good one.
And you all just see everybody that's watching this, you're getting a really bird's eye view of how Toni and I talk a lot. we have a lot of like these really deep thoughts, and then we make fun, and then we start laughing, and then we move on and go play. So
But this
thanks.
is quality of life too. We get to
Yes.
work together and talk together. And even though it's, it's serious because this is what, you do.
Yeah.
And I love and appreciate that. And I want to do everything I can to support you. But we get to do this instead of something else that would add to take away the quality of life. Again,
Yes.
we're making this quality of life by things like this. When you came to my
Yes.
house and worked because you had the electric company working on your
Hmm.
complex, and it was like, so this is like it's a little bit of magic.
For
But that's
sure.
why it's so important to kind of embrace, and maybe make like for me, I have a really hard time, as because you know me, that I have a hard time following through with things that I'm planning. You said goals one time, and I was like, no, 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 I don't like goals. I don't like goals. I don't want to have somebody have an expectation of me. I don't even want to have an expectation of myself, which is wild and crazy, but it's just the way I feel and think. I am like, I'm very spontaneous and I really have the best intentions, but when it comes down to it, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm just too tired. I've been on the computer all morning, I just haven't got this, and this done. But then it's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, come over. Or yes, I'll come over. Or, yeah, let's do a podcast. And I think that happens to a lot of us. But this is just even this stepping away is like, I'm so glad that we got to do this. Um, you
Yep.
know, and just kind of and when you do this with people, when you do this with me, I feel like we get to know each other more too, even though we have a lot of knowing to get to do. But it's just kind of it's a fun platform.
Yes.
This is a
Yes.
really
I have lots of fun getting to have these conversations, and I feel like I'm the most blessed by them because I get to know people in ways that I never would, because I don't really walk around being like, so what's quality of life to you? And it's not a
yeah.
normal, unless we're in a session together, totally different story. But to the everyday people that I come across, these three questions that I'm asking you, that I've been asking everybody else, are they're not something that usually comes out of my mouth.
No, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, for sure. But so that's a very good point. This is a really great way to go on a little bit of a deeper level. And to anybody else too, start asking that question. What is that? What is quality of life to you? How do you succeed in it? And where are you challenged? And ask your family. This is a really great question to keep. I'm gonna keep asking this question.
Yeah, I love
Is there
it.
anything that you have on the horizon that you want to share with us?
Oh, yes, I have many things on the horizon. I am working on, so currently for anybody that doesn't know who I am, which I'm sure there's bazillions, I have owned a roller skate company since 2015. And I started in a pop-up tent at the farmer's market, and I went to my first retail store, opened up my third store, and just recently closed that retail store, and which is good. It's fine. It was a time. It was the time. I put my heart and soul into that, and it was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I really wanted to stay in this industry, the roller skating industry, and was like, what else is there to do? And there's just so many things. I wanted to keep that community spirit going, and I wanted that trajectory to keep going because a lot of people relied on that. As like I said, it wasn't just for me, it was for everybody, and everybody really took that seriously. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of people in Orange County that were and are a part of Surf City Skates in my world. And so
And love you.
oh, thank you. I'll never turn that away. I turned it into, well, I started working with my friend who works with other companies. She gets hired to do roller skate rink, pop-up rink management, and she brought me into that world. And I just really kind of fell in love with it. And Dirty School of Skate, Dirty Deborah Harry, you know her. Yay. Her family owns the Fountain Valley skating rink. And so she was kind of bringing me into these really cool private pop-up parties and stuff. And I was like, I really like this management. I mean, I like management anyways, which is why I had my own business. But I like that detail oriented, like knowing what's going on there, knowing what that person's doing, knowing what they need, what da 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 da. Da. And I just kind of started to turn that into my own thing. And because I have a lot of resources from all these years, all the resources to kind of put that together. So when people would call my store and they'd say, "Do you have rental skates?" I was like, "I do. Sure. How many do you need?" "Well, we need 100." And it was like, "Oh my gosh, 100?" Well, A, that's a good little compensation for something I own.
Yeah.
So I thought, this rental business thing, it could be really good. Because people ask, they still call me all the time, even though I've closed my store. So we've kind of combined the rental skate idea. I've increased the fleet. I have a lot more now. And then I go and I take everything. I have a company I work with that provides the roller skating floor. You can do any color you want. We can do any size we want. We can bring the disco ball, the lighting, the DJ, the staff, the everything. So it's a full pop-up roller skate rink event company now. And so we're kind of in this neat little transition. And I love it because all the same people are here. They're all still around because I was so worried about that divide of me like going away or leaving the community behind. So I'm still in that. And that's a blessing in disguise because I really didn't know what was next for me. But I had stayed open, as you know, and we have to stay open and keep that positivity and do the things that give you quality of life to keep you on that trajectory instead
Yeah.
of going down the rabbit hole the other way, which is very easy to do.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening for me. And after a lot of research and a lot of hard work into this division of my career, we're we're on the right track. I've done a couple of really good ones for some celebrities and things like that, corporate parties, colleges. They usually do like a private event or like a holiday event or summer event. So yeah. And then
Would it be, sorry to interrupt you, would it be accurate to call it you provide on-demand skating rinks?
yes, that's definitely one
On,
way to say it. Mhm. Yeah,
yeah.
because usually it's last minute, so it
It's
is
not,
it
yeah, it's not always click of a button. There is some planning required,
right. There
however.
each thing is custom. So that's another thing being an artist, which I did before the roller skating thing. I creating the whole thing with the customer. It's like being an interior designer or creating a custom painting for somebody. And that's something I've always loved is that specialty, creating a custom
Yeah.
thing for you because we're not all the same. So
Yeah.
I'm back in that arena, and
Custom
that's
experiences are
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I mean, same with the skates. You made some custom skates at my store. You
I
had a set of
did.
skates. We customized them and we fluffed them up and put cute
Hmm.
accessories and laces and wheels. And, it not only did it make your skates cute, but it helped your performance,
It did.
so. So it's kind of like the same thing, but yeah, I would say that these are pop-up rink experiences. And I think that experiences are what people are really looking for nowadays
Yes,
is that
exactly.
human connection and that positive experience. So that's what we're doing.
I am so excited for this next venture for you. And because I get the vision, and of course, I'm hooked on skating. So
Mhm.
I'm really excited to see what is next for you and what comes from all this hard work you've been putting into it behind the scenes.
Thank you.
And for the lovers of roller skating and even the people who haven't tried it yet, go for it.
And we still have everything on the website, surfcityskates.com. I've completely revamped the website so you can see some of the videos of the events we've done. You can see the most recent one. I will say it was with Snoop Dogg. And so we did his birthday party, and now I'm allowed to say it. So we have
Yeah.
all these videos of the different events that we've been hired to work with my friend, that I've been hired to work with my own team, and also with the roller rink company. And then and rental companies that provide furniture and stuff. So it's really super custom, but it's all
Fun.
on the website, all the details. There's a submission form if you're even thinking about having an event. You can fill it out and send it to me, and I can take a look at what you need. So,
Love it.
yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for spending this time with me and sharing a little bit about your life and how you experience quality of life. And I know that it is inspiring and encouraging to other people that are watching this. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
No problem. It was my pleasure. That was so fun.
We'll see you soon.
Okay, see you soon.
Next week, I have a powerful and heartfelt conversation with Dr. Rupi Lega. a psychiatrist who is reimagining mental health through an anti-racist lens. You're not going to want to miss it.
And when the pandemic hit and our latest racial reckoning in our country, I think some of the contradictions and conflicts that I was feeling and seeing every day, they became completely intolerable. And I realized I had to exit all of the existing settings that I was, in teaching in academics, working in hospitals and clinics, and get completely out of that and set up my own thing and start over entirely.
I'm Chelsea. I help women discover and create our own version of quality of life so that we can actually feel good and enjoy the life we're living. See you next week.